you guys are doing some impressive work when it comes to organizing people around getting guns off of our streets and making our streets safer. What was your take on what was your take from the Senate's hearing this week on this issue?
Well, first, as you pointed out, I sat very close to Gabby Giffords, Congresswoman, shot in the head, make a really compelling presentation. I think it moved the entire room. Sitting next to her husband, a famous astronaut and now an advocate, working with the rest of us who want sensible gun laws. And then on the other end of the table, a group of people who are really out of touch with reality.
Wayne LaPierre. Oh, and don't forget the Independent Women's Forum, who said that a woman should have the right to a gun, but they don't believe women should have a right to choose. I digress. I'm sorry, David. I went off on a tangent there. I had to stop myself.
But it's an interesting point. Certainly women, there are plenty of women gun owners in America. What was shocking about the woman who did testify was that in the story she told and shared with Congress, she wasn't even aware of the gun used in this critical story, which was a shotgun, which would not be impacted by any laws that any group that I know of are advocating for.
Now, speaking about, in defining which guns are what and what gun is what, we've heard a lot of different debate and a lot of different arguments, but if there were to be a ban on assault rifles, what would that sort of mean in, I guess, normal speak for normal folk?
Well, I think first and foremost, what people are talking about is, what kind of system do we need in America to make sure that a criminal or someone who is seriously mentally ill has no gun at all. And that's where we need to start, and that's what the police chief of Baltimore County said during this hearing, and that's what I know after being a federal agent for 25 years. I mean, it is a ridiculous situation where you have 60% of gun transactions in America happening at gun shops where there are background checks, and then 40% are happening at gun shows via the Internet and the McDonald's parking lot. It just doesn't make sense. It certainly would have made no sense after 9/11 to allow 60% of people to have to go through security and then just allow 40% of the people to walk directly on the plane. No one would think that makes sense.
Oh, I love that analogy. That's one that I haven't heard yet, and I think you're completely right about that. Now, speaking about the whole ideal of these people who are allowed to buy weapons, and so for somebody who's been on, busting people for having too many weapons, just explain to me the rationale for why would somebody want that? Why would you want multiple assault? Why would you want enough weapons above the Taliban in the middle of New York City?
Well, I think this is a good point, but just to clarify, I never busted anyone because of the quantity of weapons they had. I wasn't a gunfighter. I was a crime fighter. So any person that we were looking at ATF when I was a federal agent was someone who was already prohibited from having any gun or any ammunition. So there are people, this is a free country and they have rights, and there's some people who find interest in collecting these firearms. But, my concern, and certainly the concern of mayors against illegal guns, is, making sure those people who should have no business with a gun, who have already proven that they're a threat to society, and, that's why, background checks are, something that's very important, and it's something that I think the latest polls, over 90% of Americans support, and even 3 out of 4 NRA members support.
And that's an interesting thing, David, is that the members of the NRA support, the public supports, but Wayne LaPierre and I guess the gun manufacturers, they don't believe that the NRA should support such a ban or such a background.
Don't be surprised by that. I mean, if you sold guns, you would want the solution to any problem to be a gun. So, it does not surprise me. I was just pleased that, Mr. LaPierre didn't start commenting on how Captain Kelly should have, commandeered the space shuttle. He was making comments on a lot of things really way out of his expertise, and that's why, law enforcement has a crucial voice in this. It's cops like I who had to kick down a door and arrest a bad guy with a gun, and that's why cops like me want to make certain that bad guys don't get guns in the first place. Because I can tell you, unlike TV, when you have to suit up with a bulletproof vest first thing in the morning, and you're going into a house where there's a heavily armed criminal, it's scary and it's life-threatening. And cops get killed every day doing that kind of work, and that's why it's so serious to us.